Well, it's morning time. It is time for me to do my little tea thing. It has become something that I look forward to all the time. Oops, got a little water there. Slept really well. And I cannot complain. I did have something I want to talk to you guys about, though. And it's something that I have been dealing with a lot with this, attention-based type stuff I deal with. And we're going to talk about it today. I need to get a spoon. Hold on. Don't have a spoon handy, so we're going to use this little measuring. As you guys can tell, I'm having an interesting day. Much more energy, a little jittery. So I'm not doing coffee, I'm going to do tea instead. Sometimes, I think with having like attention and things like that, got to be careful of that caffeine. Got my journal, gonna grab my Bible, and I'll be right back. So, we are back. Oh, I forgot to put my vanilla in my little tea. I've been using that instead of sugar. Little vanilla pumps. And they are really good. Get that in there. All right. Okie dokie. Okay. So I am having one of those days today, guys. And I thought I'll just come on here and share it with y'all because maybe you got some advice. Maybe you have some encouragement. But I'm going to have to get a stand for this phone here at some point. So just apologize with me. The angles might be a little off. But have you ever felt like you're going to get in trouble? Like you're always in trouble? Have you ever felt that? Well, I have, and I do. And today I woke up feeling like I'm in trouble. No reason for it. Everything that I can see in the physical is fine, just a typical day, but I will have this feeling that I'm in trouble. And so I kind of looked up this and I found a Reddit post, and I'll post it in here so you can see it because somebody else was asking this very same question. They wanted to know if other people felt like that. And so we'll take some time and we'll look at their little post here in a minute. But what I wanted to say about that is this, that there is some research out there that is suggesting that that is one of the signs of maybe childhood trauma too, that you grow up feeling like you're always in trouble because there's always something negative perhaps happening in the environment or some type of negative thing that the child is dealing with and they just don't know how to process it. And as it relates to ADHD, you tend to feel like you're always in trouble because you always are in trouble a lot of times. You're always getting yelled at for talking too much, or yelled at because you're too busy, or you just broke something, or you just lost something, or you can't remember something, right? Or you're angry. Stop. Why are you getting so upset about that? So it's always like you're in trouble. And so you just sort of go through life feeling like you're always in trouble. And I didn't really realize that I was doing that a lot. Just going through life trying to stay out of trouble. You know what I mean? So it was either one or two emotions. Either you feel like you're in trouble for no apparent reason, or you feel like you got to figure out how to stay out of trouble. And so there's this weight and this burden about life. And I'm naturally a carefree, happy-go-lucky type personality, at least in my mind. That's who I would like to be, you know. But that little bit of my character that's in there definitely keeps me from it some days. And I think menopause may be amplifying that a bit. But I am a very self-aware person. And so when I'm like that, I know how to talk myself down. And so I wanted to share with you some of the things I do when I feel like this. And then I want to hear from you because I may not be doing everything right. Because some days it's so bad that I don't even want to check my emails. I don't want to check my text messages if I feel like certain people have, like if my boss or somebody that I perceive is in some type of administrative or position above me, if they have my contacts, I don't want to check stuff because I'm like, oh my God, they're going to say I did something wrong. I can't even rationalize it. But you could tell that if you let this type of a feeling fester and you don't do anything about it, you will ultimately become a self-fulfilling prophecy and end up in trouble because you ain't gonna check your emails and you're not gonna check your text messages, and then eventually you will end up in trouble, right? So I'm like, this is something that has to be worked on. And so in my life, what I do is I have to wake up, and I had a good friend share this with me. I have to wake up and I have to say to myself before I open my eyes, I'm safe. I'm calm. This is going to be a great day. I'm safe. I'm calm. And this is going to be a great day. Because the core of that, I'm always in trouble, I'm feeling like I'm in trouble, is a belief that you're not safe, that you've done something wrong, that you've not been able to regulate yourself. You haven't been able to get your emotions and your mood, together. And so waking up and reminding myself that I'm safe, that means there's nothing that I've done wrong. Nobody's coming for me. There's no bad man, boogeyman trying to, bother me or create a problem for me, and that I'm aware of, and that I'm calm. I can regulate myself. I don't need someone else to do that for me. I don't need to go eat a very juicy burger or my favorite cake, or some type of a intoxicating beverage to kind of regulate myself. I don't need that. I'm safe. I'm calm. It's going to be a great day. So I just want to encourage you, if you're out there struggling with that same feeling of always being in trouble, that you have to talk to yourself, talk to your mind, because that's really where it is. That voice that's in our head, it can do us good or it can do us harm. And if you want to be great, and if you want to have your Colonel Sanders blow up moment, you guys know I use Colonel Sanders because he didn't really get famous until in his 60s with KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken. And so at this stage of the game, a lot of people are packing it up because they've done all that they are doing, and they're preparing to go be, grandparents and, great aunts and grand uncles and great aunts and great uncles, or whatever you call them, but you get my point. But for some of us, I think particularly for those of us that bloom late in life, I'm that person. We're still trying to make that thing happen. And we have to get to a point where we are very keyed in to those things that are stopping us. So this is kind of a sobering day for me because I just woke up a little bit more feeling like I'm in trouble kind of thing. And I do know that sometimes happens when I feel overwhelmed. Oops, I got my earbuds in. Let me take them out. It's going to be one of those kind of days. I tried to get my syrup in my little mug here. My syrup, got my little self-love. I tried to pump my syrup in my mug and it didn't make it. So I'll deal with it when I get off get off of here, but I'm having one of those days. So I'm like, okay, I'm a little bit more jittery. I'm a little bit more today. Doesn't mean I'm not going to have a great day. Doesn't mean it's not beautiful outside. The sun is shining. Doesn't mean that my creator has left me. He's still here. So I'm learning, here's the other thing, that you don't have to always feel amazing, right? Because I think the other part of it is we tend to spiral. Like if you wake up and you don't feel safe in your body, you feel like you can't regulate your emotions, feel like you're in trouble, this impending feeling of regret or doom, that doesn't negate the fact that it's still a beautiful day outside. God is still on the throne, and you can still have a great day because we can learn to live moment by moment. And I think the Bible talks a lot about that. Of course, I don't have a Bible verse, but it talks about living moment to moment or faith to faith. And that's real important for me right now because I'm recognizing that to be victorious, to have a meaningful life and accomplish all those things we have tucked into our hearts, it requires that kind of faith where you have to live moment to moment because at any given time, things can go sideways or they can go upways. And you've got to be able to process and handle that. You can't allow yourself to spiral. And if you do find yourself in a spiral of regret and depression and doom and fear and I'm in trouble, you have to know how to correct it so you can get yourself back up before you crash out. There will be no crashing out. And you know what I mean? I know the young folks have normalized crashing out, to just mean that they're having a moment when they just have to let loose the steam. But here's the thing. You shouldn't have to crash out. If you learn to live moment by moment, and if you learn to process the wins and process the losses or things that you think are negative, if you learn to process those things quicker so that they don't build up pressure, then you won't have to crash out. A lot of times we crash out because we've been pushing it down, pushing it down, pushing it down. I'm not going to deal with it today. I don't want to feel it today. I'm just going to white knuckle it through. I'm just going to make myself do it. I'm just going, You're going to crash out if you do that. So I just want to know what y'all do when you're having one of those moments. Now, I got my tea here. I think it's some chai. I got some chai here, and I got my French vanilla syrup. And I got a lot of creamer because I like creamer. I do. That was hard for me when I was plant-based, the milk. I could do without the meat when I was plant-based, but it was hard for me with the cakes and the milk and things like that. But I did it. I was plant-based for about 10 years, and that worked for me. When it worked, it worked. But then I started hitting into menopause, and I felt like I needed a little bit more meat and things like that, and so I switched back. But I am going to do my day here, and depending on how I feel, I'll hop back on here and we'll chat some more. We'll talk about some other stuff. But right now, I'm just going to leave it for there, get myself calm again, regulated again. I'm going to enjoy this glorious day we have out here. There's blue sky, there's sun, honey, and I'm learning when you have a good day, take advantage of it. So this is your sign to talk to your mind. Keep it on track. Don't let it spiral. If you catch yourself in a spiral, bring yourself back. Living faith to faith, baby. There will be no crash outs, okay? All right, I'll talk to you soon.